Hey guys, this is Andy Douglas of The Naturals, and you're watching 3 Count Wrestling.
You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the interactive interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Welcome back to Weekend Warriors Wrestling. I am Patrick Kelly, and I'm joined by James Walsh and my very special guest, Missy Hyatt. Missy, how you doing?
I am doing wonderful. It is cold. I'm in New York City right now, and it is, yesterday was nice, and today is freezing.
I've heard. It's really bad up there.
I love it. I don't care.
Love it?
I miss it.
Oh, I'm driving by the place, the Marriott New York Marquis, where they had the Hall of Fame banquet, WWE.
Oh, the Hall of Fame bang. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that where they're having the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or no?
Dumb.
Is that where they're going to have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year, too, or no?
I don't know.
I'd like to show up at that one because you got the Sex Pistols and Ozzy Osbourne at the same place. So that'd be crazy.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, that place is going to get trashed.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Excellent. All right, so I was checking over to the website the last 2 weeks. I've been looking over it, and I got to admit, I like what I see. I've watched a few of the videos, and I have to ask you about the One Night in China one, which you just posted a few days ago, I think?
Yes.
That was, first of all, you and Francine were hysterical that whole time.
Oh, it was so fun.
It was something I should do.
Doing that.
Have you done that before? Just sit there and review porns, just for the sake of it?
Did we what?
Have you done that before with Francine, where you just sit there and just review pornos?
No, we've never, ever watched, like, a video or whatever.
Okay, that should be like a weekly thing, maybe.
We've never watched a video or done anything like that together.
Maybe you should, because that was really entertaining.
Oh, yeah, we had a great time. It was so hard to keep a straight face.
There was a
I mean, it was. And the worst was that porn after it.
I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, Francine started telling us about it on the air, and we had to, like, tell her to stop because, first of all, the FCC would probably flip out. All she was able to get out was 8 guys and a spoon. And I was like, okay, that's enough.
I know.
Ugh.
I know. I
Was
mean,
it really that
yeah,
bad?
the whole spoon thing. And she made me watch it. No, it's only one that way. She made me watch that. You guys saw that on the video, how she, Missy, look, Missy, look.
Yeah.
You know, and that was just like,
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I was, the clips
I
you showed...
had to watch it.
Oh, wow. Well, the clips that you showed of the China video, I just have to ask this question. What the hell was that on China's private region? The lower private region? What was that thing?
You know what? Okay, listen. Some women get excited and their clitoris swells. So it was just a swollen clitoris because obviously, what's his name? X-Pop makes
Sean
her
Waltman, right.
excited.
Yeah, I got to tell you, while that was abnormal for what I've seen, it wasn't as bad as some people said, but I think...
I know, it wasn't somebody, I mean, people really battened her about that, and, you know, to be honest, I was looking like, not that, like, people were saying all kinds of bad stuff about it.
Right.
I mean, to me, I think she took it like a champ, man. I mean, she was good. She must have been watching some videos on how to give blowjobs and stuff because she was just, yeah. I was impressed.
And you seemed impressed.
What?
Would you say she's an expert?
You know, an expert. Expert. No, she's not in the expert category yet. Almost. Almost.
What does she need to work on?
Let's see. What does she need to work on? To be an expert? Like Like, I know. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert.
Patrick, neither am I, so.
I would hope that you're not.
What?
I'm talking. Patrick said that he's not an expert, and I'm saying I hope he's not.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really want to think about that too much. But I think what he was talking about was the piercing.
Is that what that was?
There was a piercing down there.
Oh, she was pierced down there?
Yeah.
Ouchies.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what.
Ow.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would feel good being done. I mean,
on the video, on our video, we did I pierced my nose. And so all my friends really bagged on me and told me how you're gross, and I took it out. But we also did my tattoo.
The lower back tattoo.
Yeah,
which, by the way, I love. I think that looks
Oh,
tremendous.
Thank you. And you know what's so funny? I forget that I have it sometimes. But then I'll be looking at my hair, look in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my God, cool. Too. It's because you forget that you have it, you don't see it. But I'm having the one on my ankle taken off when I move back to New York in June. So.
Why is that?
I don't like it.
What is it of?
Because it's just barbed wire, whatever. But the thing is, I'm going into nuclear medicine. I'm going to be working in an atmosphere. And even if I wasn't, to put on a dress, a really nice, or let's say I wear one of my Chanel suits.
Right.
And I put on cover-up makeup on it because, you don't want to wear a Chanel suit and then you have Gucci shoes and you got this tattoo on your ankle. It just doesn't look
nice.
When'd you get the tattoo?
I got the tattoo in, I believe, 99.
Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that kind of brings us to our next subject, speaking of adult films. I remember back in about 3 or 4 years ago, you and Tammy were making a bit of the round saying that Tammy might do an adult film herself.
Tammy was saying that she was going to do an adult film.
Why did she never do it?
I don't know. I do have pictures, though.
Pictures of...
Tammy.
Yeah.
Doing naughty things.
Really?
Wow, yeah. But they're in my safe, and no one would ever be able to get them.
What else do you have in that safe?
Oh, I got some pictures of some people.
You holding those?
I got some videotapes of a certain ex-WWF superstar smoking crack.
Ooh.
You want to say who that is?
No.
No, she doesn't want to say that.
No, I don't mess with people's privacy.
Right.
Like that.
Okay.
No. Because if I was going to say who it is, hell, I'd sell it. But I'm not going to say who it is.
Well, what do you hold on to it for? I mean, are you going to sell it one day, or?
No, never. I just hold on to it just for, shits and giggles.
Ah, okay. Good.
I have it. Why would I tape over it? It's funny.
You have it on
pictures.
Yes.
Yeah. Or the pictures, why would I...
Get rid of them.
Why would I get rid of them when I can look at them and laugh and giggle?
That's funny, because I was looking over my family photo album the other day. There are a few stupid-looking ones in there, so...
Oh, yeah. I've got a lot of stupid pictures of me.
Oh, yeah. You do?
Yeah.
Dude, I think we all have stupid pictures.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so used to seeing her in, good photo shoots and stuff, so... I can't imagine it.
Oh.
No. People, goofy pictures. As a matter of fact, one time, my ex, we went on a honeymoon, and he had taken a picture of me. He was behind, and he took a picture in the mirror, and I was getting ready. But I covered myself up. Well, the pictures accidentally got into the pack, and his mom and sister were looking at him.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
So this is here, I think you need to take this and I'm like, yeah, do something with it.
Pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
It was embarrassing photos.
Let me ask you this.
But I can say there's really no embarrassing pictures of me out there. And there is a tape. There is one. I've only, done one tape one time.
Oh. I know that you're with your boyfriend at the moment.
3 times on video.
Are those in the safe too?
No, one's in the camera right now, and yeah. Is this
Wow.
45th? Oh, I'm sorry.
What happened?
We just turned around the wrong way. Maybe we can get around the block.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I know that you're with...
Right. I'm looking for... it's like one of those days in Manhattan that you're going around and you're looking for certain things that you can only find on the streets in New York.
Wow.
Not drugs, not DVDs that haven't even been out, that just got out in the movie.
The bootlegs? Yeah.
$10 with crying babies in the back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well...
So what do you want to ask, James?
Actually, I remember an old interview that I think we did with you about 3 years ago, and you said something about wanting that doll. You wanted a figure made of you, a figurine. Now,
Yeah, I'm very upset about me not having a doll.
Yeah.
Very, very upset about it.
Have you seen that they're contacting a lot of the classic superstars
Right.
and making new figures of them? For example, they just
Dolls? Really?
they just signed Sherry Martel to do one. I think they signed a couple others. So all I'm saying is maybe if you have any contacts out there, would be your time to give them a call.
Well, yeah, I should. Hold on 1 second. What did I say?
Didn't Miss Elizabeth just get a doll too?
Did she?
I think so.
Yes, she did. I'll probably buy that one.
Oh, okay. Are those glasses? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. If they would contact me, I would definitely do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I just want a doll.
Right.
This lady at Bang TV, she dressed up a Barbie doll and was like going, like it was me.
Uh-huh.
And I was laughing my butt off because I loved it. And it was fun. It's fun.
Do you still work with Adam Windsor at all?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you still work with Adam Windsor?
You know what? We haven't worked together in a long time because he's just really not working.
Yeah, I heard that he's getting more into the training and stunts and such.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Adam's up to. I got my coat on. It's Zamar Furs on.
Patrick, you want to take the next one and close this out?
I was going to ask her about
And then close this out.
Sorry, everybody. I'm in my blue Oompa Loompa coat, and everybody. It's like a big fur blue Oompa Loompa, and people love my coat. They either love it or they go by and look at me like I'm a retard. So.
Oompa Loompa coat? What does it look like?
Well, like a blue Oompa Loompa. Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Like a big bird. Like they had a yellow coat that looked like Big Bird.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yours is blue?
What?
Yours is blue, you said?
Yeah, it's blue.
Oh, okay. I thought the Oompa Loompas were orange.
I don't know what the...
I do remember that Violet turned violet, though. So maybe that's what you look like.
Like a what?
Violet from that movie ate one of those blueberry things and turned into a giant blueberry.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah, that's the best movie ever.
Violet, you're turning violet, Violet. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. Well, I wanted to ask you about the dolls. Have any of your fans ever made a doll of you and sent you one?
Any fans did what?
Have they ever made a doll themselves and sent you one? Because I've heard of people doing that before.
Made dolls and sent me one?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No one's ever made me a doll and sent me one. Except the one lady that she did, made the Barbie doll, made it out of me.
Okay, so any of Missy's fans listening to this, if you want to make her a doll, just, I guess, you want to give out your contact information, we'll have them send them to you.
That probably wouldn't be wise with the crazy people on the internet.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some like those out there.
Yeah, that's the next question, and then we'll let you go because we can hear that you're going through New York City, and I know that that's not exactly the best place to talk.
No, I'm getting ready to get in the car, though. I was just looking at these. I was looking at these glasses, and I'm not sure if I want them or not. And they kind of look cool, but I'm just not sure if I want them or not.
Well, the question I have for you.
Wraparound glasses still in style?
I'm not a fashion expert. I couldn't tell you. Patrick, do you know?
I'm sorry, I missed the question. What was it?
Are wraparound glasses still in style?
Oh, I would think so. I mean, I'm not a fashion guru either. I mean, you're talking to a guy who's wearing denim shorts in 40-degree weather, so.
Yeah, great. Well, the last question I have for you, and this is a question we asked to somebody recently, is have you ever had a stalker?
Have I ever had a stalker?
Yes.
I need you. A stalker? Yeah, I have. This guy, used to send me, letters every day, and then they put my address on the internet, and somebody, look at him, and then somebody kept following me. And the guy would I knew he was following me because I would go, around the corners and stuff. And I knew. Sorry. You take if you go up and then you take a left, then you take a right, then you take a left. I knew something was going on because he kept following me.
Right.
So.
Wow. How did you get rid of him?
I think he just finally went away.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he finally just went away. So.
That's only happened to me once that I was followed like that, and I ended up stopping right in front of a cop, and then finally turning around, grabbing the guy and saying, "What's your deal?" And it turns out that he was mad at me because I was talking to his girlfriend, but she was in my class, so it wasn't like I was hitting on her. It was like we were talking about algebra homework in college.
What kind of nuts do you guys like?
Kind of nuts?
What?
Nuts.
N-U-T.
Peanuts. I think I want peanuts and almonds and cashews mixed. I'm
Yeah.
like nuts.
I'm a peanut guy.
Boy.
Patrick.
Cashew boy.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick says cashew. I say peanuts.
Ah, okay.
So I don't know what you say. What do you like?
I got peanuts, almonds, and cashews.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Those are all the best kind of nuts.
I gave you 5. I thought you said 4. I thought you said 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Then how much do I owe you? Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. I'm trying to rip the guy off over there.
Wow.
I'm talking to you guys.
Is it the real store? Are you in a real store, or was it a guy just on the street?
No, he's a guy on the street, with the nuts.
Hot dog stand.
Yeah. Do you ever buy any of those hot dogs off the street?
Oh, I would never eat. Guess what? I would never eat one of those dirty dogs. They're so.
But it's the dirt that gives them their flavor. It's the dirt that gives them their flavor.
They don't ever even change the water.
All right.
I ate one of those hot dogs once, and it destroyed my stomach, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you can get sick. You can get, salmonella and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I was sick for the next week. It was bad.
All right. Well, Missy, you want to plug your website real quickly, and then we'll let you off the phone?
Sure. It's Missy Hyatt and FrancineTV.com. We have a lot of great stuff coming up, too.
Any new photo shoots?
Like, on my chat,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if anybody knows this, but on my chat, we have it's 5 cam.
Oh.
Wow.
So it's like you got a webcam on then?
Yeah, it's live.
Wow. So they can actually, tell you to stand up and...
Tonight at 9 o'clock, I'm there, and it's live, and we talk, and everybody can see me.
Do they ever ask you to do anything?
People ask for, this, they want to see my toes and stuff, And
what do you think of that, anyway? What do you think of these foot fetish people?
I don't know, they like feet, and that's cool with me. And then I let them, like, the week before, they get to all, like, pick what outfit. And sometimes at the end, I'll do, like, a strip thing at the end.
Uh-huh.
For everyone, like, you know, what outfit do you want me to wear? Do you want me to be a nurse, a schoolgirl?
Ooh.
They vote, and then that's who I am.
And what night is this a week?
Tuesday night at 9 o'clock.
Excellent. And that's Eastern time.
And I'm trying to get enough people that will play, blackjack with me. Francine does the poker. But mine's blackjack. It doesn't cost anything. You know, they give you free money.
See, blackjack I'd play because I suck at poker.
Oh, I have no poker face. I'm like, So, but blackjack is fun. So I'm trying to get enough people. I think we need, like, I forget how many people you need to be able to get a table. I think 6. But we'll commit to do it, you know, and show up. Because if people show up and we only have, like, 4, then we can't do it.
Right. Right.
All right,
Well,
so anybody want to check out that website, sign up to play blackjack with Missy Hyatt? I'm sure that would be a lot of fun.
right. And, of course,
Yeah, so they can come on my live chat. And Francine's on her chat on Mondays. And she goes live, I think, about once a month.
right. Alrighty. Well, once again, we can't thank you enough for your time, and I guess we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, you know, anytime, guys. Sorry, I'm on this, like, mission in New York.
I've been on those missions before. There was about 5 years ago, I was on a mission to find sunglasses that I didn't even think existed.
That's it. That's what I'm looking for.
What glasses are you looking for?
I'm looking for these Gucci sunglasses.
Gucci. See, I was just looking for sunglasses that had shark teeth coming out. Oh, you want?
Wraparound ones for my first mom's box, and then Gucci.
Gucci.
In fact, every place I'm looking, yeah, you know, I don't know. So.
Is that about taping any of this for the website? Because that sounds interesting.
No, I should be taping this for the website.
Yeah.
Little advice though: never go to Mexico looking to go haggling, because they used to be really cool about it, but now they get angry at you and yell at you.
Really?
I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Right by the border, there's a poor town. I forget what it's called, and they have all these vendors, and they have like
You're talking about Mexico, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's Tijuana.
It might be. I don't know anything about Mexico. All I know is I'm not going back.
Yeah, Tijuana.
Somebody actually tried to get me to go to Mexico recently, and I said, the only way you're ever going to get me into Mexico is if you carry me across in a goddamn box.
Let me tell you, when we went over there, I wanted to see how, you know, because you really get steroids over there. The lady at a pharmacy hands me a laminated thing with every steroid and the price on it.
Wow. Did you hear?
Like, wow.
Well, you heard what happened to Sabu when he did that, right? That's what almost killed Sabu a couple years ago.
Put him out of action for like 8 months, something like that?
Yeah, he bought steroids. He bought steroids in Puerto Rico. And one vial was actually steroids, and one was like rat poison or something.
Rat poison?
Or something like that, and it gave him tumors in like his ass and his lips and stuff. It was like, oh wow.
Oh my God, rat poison! If he would have injected himself with rat poison, he probably could have died.
Yeah, he was in the hospital for quite a while. I don't know exactly what it was, but anyway, that was a lovely conversation.
Hey, well, once again,
but
thank you.
On a bad note, no.
Right, on a high note, let's.
All right, thank you very much for your time. I know you've been busy, so it's nice of you to take some time out of your schedule to come and talk to us for a while.
Anytime, you guys, anytime.
All right, thank you. All right, and stay tuned for more from the Weekend Warriors of Wrestling.
Okay, tell me when you're ready.
We're ready to roll whenever you are.
This is Bill DeMott, a.k.a. Hugh Morris, a.k.a. General Rection. Like it or not, you are listening to The Pile Driver.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Weekend Warriors of Wrestling. I'm Patrick Kelly, and with me today is James Walsh. James, how you doing, boy?
Doing pretty well. Is Nick still missing in action?
Yes, he is still missing in action.
Nick, where are you, buddy?
Well, he sent me a message and tells me he has mono, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is weird because mono means singular, and basically mono is known as the kissing disease, so you must be kissing yourself. But it sucks, though, because I've had it myself, and it just wipes you out. And not just for the 2 weeks that they say you really suffer from it.
Mm.
It knocks you out for like 3 months. But
I've heard it.
the worst part is the first couple of weeks, though.
Unfortunately, I've never had it, which means I'm not kissing anybody, so maybe it's not so unfortunate. But anyway.
Well, that's not how I got it. I got it from dirty 7th graders that were using the keyboard. They were using the keyboard in the library.
7th graders, huh?
No. They were using the keyboard in the library, and I was using it as well. And
okay, well, that's just double sucks.
Yeah.
None of the fun and all the pain.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I can honestly say I've never kissed a 7th grader.
Good for you.
Should I start now? Probably would be illegal, wouldn't it?
Extremely illegal.
Okay,
I think that's what Pee Wee Herman got arrested for. Oh, God. Yeah, poor little Pee Wee Herman is a pedophile. Yeah.
Yes, I feel bad for him. He was actually on Murphy Brown for a while there.
Really? I've seen him everywhere.
Mekaleka High, hate you.
No, I was watching Everybody Loves Raymond the other day, and he had a guest spot as the owner of a comic book shop.
Yeah, that pretty much fits him.
Yeah.
I'm always a little bit curious about those people who run comic book shops. Not necessarily like Rob Van Dam, but I think a lot of them are a little creepy.
Well, I think comic book guy from The Simpsons is a perfect representation of what they're all like.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, ugh. Anyway, getting back to wrestling, I just got done watching Impact, the final Impact before Destination X, and I have to say they built towards their pay-per-view quite well. I'm
looking forward to seeing it. It starts here in a couple hours, so I'll get a chance to see it then. I think that they're doing a pretty good job building up the big matches. Unfortunately, I think their time restraints are keeping them from building up the lower card matches.
Yeah, I'm looking over the final card, and they have Alex Shelley versus Jay Lethal, Maverick Matt versus Lance Hoyt, and...
I hate Maverick Matt.
You hate that name?
Well, I guess it's better than Matt Bentley.
It is better than Matt Bentley.
But I think it should be Matt Maverick.
I agree. That does sound better.
Right. I mean, I'm just trying to give them little bits of advice. I don't think the Impact Zone should be the Impact Zone. I think it should be the Point of Impact.
They've been calling it that for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, they're not going to change it. But I still stand by my original idea of call it the Point of Impact. And then this way with the intro, you can have, looking through the crosshairs and... You're in the Point of Impact. That whole thing.
That's actually really cool.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, yeah, like you've been saying, I'm looking at these undercard matches, and they're not receiving a whole lot of build-up. I think Christopher Daniels mentioned it on the press conference that we were fortunate to be a part of, which was pretty cool. He mentioned the International X Division Showdown, and they had never mentioned it up until this past show. And I still don't know who's going to be in it. Saban's going to be in it for America.
Right.
Yeah, NWA TNA. But I don't know who else is going to be in it.
Indeed. And I think another example of how the low card's not being built up properly is coming up. We're going to have Andy Douglas on the program just a few moments. By the way, we want to thank Missy Hyatt also for joining us a little earlier.
Yes, of course. We love Missy Hyatt. She's a riot, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the walking riot.
The walking riot.
That was Paul Heyman's name for her in ECW. And ever since then, that's the only name I've called her by. Even though every time I use it, she corrects me and says I should call her the First Lady of Wrestling because she actually paid money to copyright that.
Right.
But I still think Walking Riot fits her better.
I think so, too. She's hysterical.
So where were we again? Oh, yeah. Andy Douglas says something along the lines of, he doesn't even know who he's wrestling this Sunday, and this was conducted on Wednesday night.
Right, yeah. He said, I think in the interview he said, I think we're doing something with Team Canada, but we don't know exactly what it is yet.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, ooh.
Is that anywhere on the card?
Huh?
Is that anywhere on the card?
Yes, it is. It's going to be the Naturals versus Team Canada. They don't say who, though.
Well, hopefully it'll be Eric Young.
Yes, any excuse to get Eric Young on TV is a very good one.
I love that guy. He's so great.
Sting's not gone. Eric, repeat after me. Sting's gone. Sting's gone. Yeah, okay. Repeat after me. Sting's gone. Sting's gone. Okay, good. Good boy, Eric. Jeff Jarrett turns on. Sting's not gone. I don't know why, but that's just so hysterical.
And I will give Jeff Jarrett a lot of credit. I just watched a Nitro from 1996. Jarrett cut a promo. And while Jarrett wasn't bad at promos then, he's tenfold better now.
Yeah. I tell you who else has improved at this? AJ Styles. Tonight on Impact they showed, like, okay, none of the three guys appeared in wrestling capacity this week, so they showed, like, this huge hype video for the Ultimate X match, and all three of them got mic time. And AJ actually sounded pretty good.
AJ always has been decent. I think that's always been his bad rap, that he can't talk. For a while there, they had him with a manager, which was pretty good. They had him with Warner Plumtree.
Whatever happened to that guy?
All I know is at the end of one of the Wednesday night pay-per-views, after the credits rolled, they had celebration text, and it wrote, "Thanks, Morty." So I assume he just retired and went to do something else or got another job somewhere.
Okay,
but
go ahead.
He must have left amicably.
Okay. All right.
What were you about to say? I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
I was watching some of AJ's old TNA stuff, and he was actually a pretty good manager.
Yeah, he was a good old-school style manager. I think he actually came from the AWA.
Right, I don't remember ever seeing him before.
Either do I, but I'm told he came from the AWA, even though I watched the AWA, but I was young when I was watching it. That's like the time I emailed the guy who was the announcer for the AWA, and we agreed to do an interview.
Right.
And I never told the story before. And then 2 weeks later, I'm reporting that the guy just dropped dead.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? How'd that happen? He was just talking about getting AWA back together, and he wanted to do an interview. Now he's dead.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of freaky.
I guess you just have that effect on people, James.
Same, yeah. Between Eddie Guerrero, Malice, and that guy, which I don't even remember his name, it's pretty bad.
Really? Oh, that's right. You were supposed to interview Eddie, weren't you?
Yeah. Which means, guys, if you're going to have an interview scheduled with me, do it sooner than later. Don't put it off.
No, of course not.
There's bad results when you do.
But there are some people who don't believe Eddie's actually dead, so he's going to become like pro wrestling's version of Elvis, I guess.
Oh, I think he's dead, but I'll tell you what. If they managed, and I know you said that somebody posted this on another forum.
Yeah.
This concept. If they pulled it off, that would be tremendous.
Well, I don't think WWE's... first of all, I don't put it past them to try something like this, to actually fake somebody's death for publicity, but I wouldn't put it past them, but I don't think they're smart enough to pull it off at this point.
I don't think so either, but it would be a way to kind of get out of the horrible, horrible stuff they've been doing and saying about him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And with guys like Randy Orton, who's such a good heel, he doesn't need to resort to that in order to get heel heat.
That's cheap heat, but it's not even in a good way. And I'm the kind of guy that hates saying that there's such thing as bad heat, because I think that if you're reacting, and that's good. But I'm not a fan of using somebody's death for any reason.
No, neither am I. And I on the flip side of that, I don't like Ray coming out in every single match saying, "This one's for you, Eddie." Like every single match, and he looks to the sky and he does all the Eddie Guerrero stuff. It's like it's giving off the impression that the only reason he's getting pushed is because he was Eddie Guerrero's friend.
So it's giving off the right impression?
Huh?
No. I said, so it's giving off the right impression?
No, it's yeah, I guess. I don't know. What do you
I mean, let's be honest. That's probably the reason that he's only getting pushed.
Oh, probably.
Now, that said, a year ago, I would have been against him getting a world title shot.
Yeah.
Especially at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of hoping he wins it.
Yeah, well, he's been really good in the last year. I mean, his matches with Eddie were phenomenal, and he had some really good matches with JBL, too, so. I don't know what happened to him, but he's really stepped up his ring work.
And he made Henry look good, too.
Yeah. The only one who's been able to, well, Taker had a good match with him, but.
He made Mark Henry look good. Kurt Angle can't even claim that.
Oh, God, that was, I still say that was the worst pay-per-view main event I've seen in ages.
Right. But people give Angle a buy on it. Now, I'm a little hard on Angle, I admit it. And I shouldn't be because I think he's a great worker, and a lot of people think that I don't think that.
Right.
But that match was everything that I always point to about being bad about Angle, not being able to carry the main event spot.
Right.
Which hopefully he'll prove me wrong, because I'm almost positive that's going to be the last match of this WrestleMania.
No, I think Cena Triple H will be the last match, just because the King of Kings needs to go back on his throne. Oh, God.
It'd be funny if Cena next week comes out with laxatives. That gives him to Triple H.
That actually would be funny. He needs to get some shots on Triple H, because Triple H made him look like a little bitch. On that promo they did in the DC show, where the crowd was just completely against Cena.
Yeah, what the hell happened? You guys were half, or at least mostly with him at SummerSlam, and then all of a sudden now that you guys hate him.
Well, it was odd, because I never understood Cena's popularity, because most of the people that I hang around with in this area can't stand him, and never did. So I never understood where the popularity was coming from, so...
It's the younger audience, the audience that they pretend doesn't happen or doesn't exist. It's the kids. It's the women. They're the ones who like him. People our age, for the most part, don't like him.
Right. At least it's that way now. I was just watching a few days ago, I saw WrestleMania 20 in, and he got a huge ovation in his match with Big Show.
Right.
This was in Madison Square Garden.
I thought he had potential then. I'll be honest with you.
I thought he did too.
I still hated the rap gimmick, but I thought he had potential.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to his ring work. Ray seems to get better and better, and Cena seems to be going down and down.
If anybody recorded, taped, whatever, the Monday Night Raw show from this week, watch when Cena starts making his comeback and starts throwing punches. I swear he must be taking lessons on how to punch from Tori Wilson.
Oh, wow. That's pretty bad.
Oh, man, they were bad. I mean, and I was on the phone with Ivory, and she asked me not to air this part, but I'll say it anyway because I'm an outlaw, I guess. I'm just being an idiot. She did ask me not to air it, but I will say what she said. And that is, if you watch his matches closely, the office gets very upset when they watch his matches because they see that he starts falling before people actually lift their foot up to kick him. They said there's little nuances that maybe the casual viewer wouldn't pick up on, but if you're actually watching it as a critical viewer, which the office does,
right,
they pick him apart. And they said that she says he looks the part and everything, but his work just doesn't warrant the spot he's got right now.
Well, hey, I fully agree with that, and it made me all the more angry when he got to completely bitch out JBL last year and ruin his title reign.
And that match was terrible, too.
That was a horrible, horrible match. Well, going into it, and I was watching it, and I'm like, yeah, this is a decent match so far. Then Cena just got the win out of nowhere. And I was like, what the hell did I just watch?
Well, it's bad when the announcers say, that's it?
Yeah.
That's a good indicator. That's not a very good main event.
Right. And, JBL, he had such a great title reign. It was just such a shame that it had to end that way.
Like I always say, it should have came down to Cena against the world at the end. JBL should have stacked the deck so far in his favor that Cena would actually have to overcome just about everything. Right. And when he did, it'd be all the match special. Orlando Jordan, who I don't even think was on WrestleMania last year,
no,
could have at least had a run-in appearance.
Uh-huh. Basham Brothers too.
Basham Brothers as well. And
Are they still with the company?
Technically, yes.
They won't last though.
Technically, yes, but I don't think that they're going to make it very long.
Okay. Yeah, that was another team that they split up for no good reason, and now they're doing nothing with them.
Right. Well, they're actually talented workers.
They are.
I think people say Doug is more talented than Danny, or Danny's more talented than Doug. I don't know. But they said one of them actually could be a single star one day. But
right.
You're never going to see them become single stars unless you actually put them on TV somewhere.
Right. Well, I thought that the tag team was really working out well for them, and putting them with JBL got them some exposure. I'm thinking, well, even if one of them is more talented than the other, let them stay on the team for a few years. Let them, give them time.
Why not? They learn the nuances of the business while they're doing that. Like Bret Hart. A lot of people will say that Bret Hart was the driving force behind the Hart Foundation. And that's true and not true. Anvil played his role and played it well.
Right. Oh, Bret even said on the DVD that Jim doesn't get enough credit for the success of that team.
No. And I'm one of the guys who gives a lot of credit to guys that people are surprised they give credit to.
Right.
Like JBL. When he won the world title, I think I was the only person on the planet that said I'm happy for him.
I was happy.
Everybody, I think you might have been. I think you were the only one who you were posting on the forums at the time. But I said that, and I got like IMs. Are you on drugs? Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? I'm like, I just think that he could actually be a good champion. I think this character has legs, especially with the media portraying like conservatives as a certain way, and him just playing that up. It was perfect.
Right. It's not like, and I'm not bashing Eddie Guerrero at all, but I actually thought Eddie was a good champion, but he was the champion of an absolute bullcrap product, where he was the only good thing on the show. And, when your show's going down the tank, you have to try something new. And JBL was the biggest breath of fresh air I've seen in ages.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I loved the guy when he came out. And it was almost hard to believe that the beer-swigging guy from the Acolytes became this character. But it won. Right. Yeah, but it worked.
I often say that he's like not in his wrestling style, but in his character, he's the Ted DiBiase of our day.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he's still one of the most over heels on SmackDown, even though they're not really doing anything with him, is proof of that.
And he's a great talker, too.
No, he's not. He sucks. The Internet says that, too.
How could they say he sucks? The guy never stutters. That's perfect. I just did that right then and there. He never stutters, never stammers, always gets his point across, and always gets heel heat while doing it.
Right.
That's a good talker, guys. That means that he's doing well.
Right, and he doesn't sound like his promos are scripted either.
Mm-mm.
They might be, I don't know, but because everybody else's is.
Well, I have a theory, and I hate to cut you off again. I have a theory on why JBL actually did get his title run, and I'm by no means am I trying to put him down when I say this, but he's good at stocks and bonds and things.
Right.
And I have a funny feeling he might have been Vince's broker for a little while there, and made Vince a lot of money, and that was his reward.
Maybe. My theory was just that, Angle was out with an injury, Big Show was out with an injury, and Lesnar left the company, so SmackDown really had nobody.
Right.
And JBL was just something that they threw together in 2 minutes and said, okay, we'll just let you go, see what happens, and it just happened to get over. Fortunately.
Some of the strangest things get over in this business.
Like A1, which I always go back to. That bizarre Orlando crowd. I'm not kidding when I say this. They actually, when A1 first debuted in TNA, they actually started bringing bottles of A1 sauce to the shows and chanted A1. I don't know why. It's just bizarre world.
What's his real name, anyway?
I don't know if it's actually his real name, but he goes by Alistair Ralph.
What is it again?
Alistair Ralph.
Wow. A1's a lot better than that.
Yeah, well, his name's like A1 Alistair Ralph, but now they just call him A1. So.
I don't even know if I can pronounce that name, so A1's a lot easier.
Maybe that's why they called him A1.
Hey, Don West would have a lot more trouble than I would pronouncing things.
Don West. Am I the only one who likes that guy on commentary?
I like him. I think he's energetic.
Yeah,
that's the important thing. He's got to be energetic.
Right, and he's actually starting to learn the moves now. So.
Yeah, he was pretty bad at the beginning about knowing the moves and everything, but he's learned a lot.
Uh-huh.
And if you listened during the Wednesday night pay-per-views, you could actually hear Mike Tenay's shock whenever he got the name of a move right. It's like he's like, you can actually hear Mike Tenay like, wow. And you knew he wasn't saying wow about the move. He was saying wow that he was impressed that he knew the name. So.
But they make a good team though.
They do. Mike Tenay wouldn't have trouble with anybody. He's perfect. I mean, Mike Tenay is a very underrated announcer.
Yeah, he was really good. Well, WCW had the most successful three-man team ever in, what was it, Shivani, Heenan, and Tenay.
Yeah. Tenay was the guy who always brought it back to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tony and Bobby would always go off on whatever the NWO was doing that night, regardless of what was going on in the ring. And Tenay would always be the one calling what actually was going on in the ring.
Right. And it worked. The only other, I can't think of any other three-man teams that really work.
No, and the one they have now on Raw doesn't work.
Oh, that's terrible. And I hate to say that because individually I like all three of those guys.
Right.
But they just don't mesh well at all.
If you saw, I think it was Taboo Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the coach, it was just King and Styles doing commentary. And it was actually very good. Coach does not fit into that mold, and I say that as a fan of the coach. I think the coach is a great character. But I think they can use him in another way besides an announcer.
I think he should be a manager.
Sure.
Pick him with a heel who can't talk. I can't think of anybody right now.
Tomko, Masters.
Well, Masters can talk.
Yeah, but he's still not a 10 on that.
No. He's better than some of the other guys. But yeah, Tomko would be a good example.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do anything with him. Snitsky.
Oh. Yeah, Snitsky can talk.
I don't know. I remember the first promo he cut. Remember the first promo he cut where it sounded like he was reading at a 5th grade level? I did not kill her, baby.
He's come a long way since then.
Well, that was an example of why you can't script for some guys, because some guys can't read that quickly.
No. Not at all. That was terrible. I actually used to call him generic Gene Snitsky, because he just was the most generic thing ever when he first came in.
Right, he was just a big guy.
He was just a big guy with black trunks, no real look.
Right.
Then he killed Kane and he, exploded.
Right.
Now they're jobbing him out. I don't understand. He's a guy that would be very valuable, I'd think.
I don't know. I don't know what the backstory is, but he just they cut the rug out from under him.
Right, and there was a while there where, aside from Evolution, he was the top heel on the show.
Yeah. They just cut the rug out from under that guy. I don't know what happened. I thought it was funny when he came out with the baby doll.
Oh God.
And he punted into the crowd.
That was terrible.
That's so evil that it's funny.
Yeah, they've done that a few times with things that are just so ridiculously horrible that they're actually funny. I think I'm the only one that actually liked the Wedding from Hell segment with Kane and Lita, because Kane was just so hysterical through that whole thing.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Because he was so evil. I'm the kind of guy that laughs at Chucky movies, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's so evil, he's funny.
You know what? I would have agreed with that, but I just saw Seed of Chucky 2 weeks ago.
Right.
That was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I never saw it.
Yeah, it was the last one they did with Jennifer Tilly playing herself, and it was just horrible.
Jennifer Tilly playing herself?
Yeah, she plays herself. She plays Chucky's bride, but she also plays herself.
Is this Bride of Chucky or Chucky Seed?
Seed of Chucky. That's this one. Yeah.
Bride of...
I never saw Bride of Chucky.
I did, only because it was on, I think, the same time as Over the Edge, maybe.
Uh-huh.
and I had ordered that pay-per-view, replay, and they kept it on, and I watched the replay, that movie after that.
Uh-huh.
Which is odd because that's kind of creepy to think. Never mind. I don't want to get into that. That was the whole Owen thing, and I don't want to get into it.
Right.
Right. I get in trouble every time I mention it, so I'm just going to leave it alone.
Okay.
What else we got on tap for tomorrow night's show?
Tomorrow night's show, ooh, yeah, Destination X. Well, aside from all the pointless, well, not pointless, but just not very well built up low-card matches, we have the 8-man war, which is probably, I can actually see this match being made the main event of the pay-per-view. It's going to be Jeff Jarrett, Abyss, and America's Most Wanted versus Team 3D, Rhino, and the odd man out of this whole shebang, Ron the Truth Killings.
Yeah.
People over there, what's up? What's up? What's up? People over there, what's up?
That's got to be number one.
Oh, yeah, James and I were making fun of the song before we started recording this, so...
That's worse than Savage.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's worse than Savage. I'd rather hear lyrics like, I'm going to slap you in the face, you want your mouth out with soap. I'd rather hear that than, what's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? For 410 minutes or however long.
And they cut it halfway through, and they come on and like, if you want to hear the whole song, go to TNAWrestling.com. Oh, I'm sure a lot of people clicked over for that.
But who was it on the live show that said that The Truth has one of the best theme songs in TNA?
that was a caller. I think his name is Mike, and he's from California.
Oh, okay. Well, I disagree. I think he's wrong.
I don't think that there's many good TNA theme songs, but I don't know that I agree with that either.
Yeah, I think best theme songs in TNA, I think AMW, AJ Styles, Abyss.
I would put Jarrett's there too, just because it's you know who's coming out.
Yeah. I like Monty Brown's, even though it's an obvious ripoff of God, what's the name of that song? Somebody put the name of the song after you listen to the show, because I'm going to feel stupid. But
well, they got rid of that though, because it was such a ripoff. They used to have Monty Brown making that sound.
Uh-huh.
That apparently the singer does in the song. I don't know. I never heard the song, but.
Right. Well, I've heard the song, and I was like, oh, the Alpha. Why don't they just shell out some money and have Alpha Male come up to that song?
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
But they actually cut the part where you just go, wah! That thing.
Oh, I never noticed that.
They cut it out. It used to be there, and they don't have it anymore.
Oh, okay. Well.
And I thought that was actually a lot better.
Poor Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Monty Brown, it's going to be him challenging Christian Cage for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. What do you think of this match?
Could be a good match. I still think Monty Brown needs to get those black tights off and put on his leopard skin tights or whatever the hell it was.
Uh-huh.
I don't like the black tights. I think they make him look generic. And little things like that will take away from your character. And I think they do. That said, that's weird that it's the first thing I went to. But I think that this match could be good. They've worked together in the past. I think it was Turning Point?
Yes.
Yeah, great match. A Turning Point. I just saw it the other day. I think they'll deliver in the ring. Build-up's been a little bit slow, but not really.
They haven't devoted a whole lot of time to it. I was a little surprised by that.
No, they really haven't. I think this is more going off of it's Christian.
Right.
So please be happy that it's Christian wrestling.
Right. They did have that one really good segment where Monty pounced him off the stage.
Right.
They landed on the guard railing, which just looked sick.
Right.
And this week, which I really liked, they did an interview segment where one of those old school segments where Monty and Christian are at their homes.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in via satellite. And Christian said that he was injured and couldn't come to the show. So I was like, no, that's kind of interesting.
Well, that's something that they have as a benefit because they're not 2 hours every week, but I think they need to be. But that said, the good thing is you don't see overkill with the main guys. Example, I thought it was so cool one time when Chris Benoit, in the middle of his title reign, was not at Raw. Because it made you think for a second, well, the show is more special when he's there
Right. I agree with that. Actually, SmackDown 2 weeks ago did a show. I think it was 2 weeks ago. They had JBL was not on the show. Chris Benoit was not on the show. Ray was not on the show, and some other big name was not on the show. It was a show that was headlined by Taker and Angle, whichever one that was.
That was last week, I think.
Last week, okay. And I was just thinking, wow, all these top guys are not on the show, yet it's still a really good, it was a really good show overall.
Well, people seem to forget that way back when, Hogan was not on every single week.
No, and he never wrestled.
No. I mean, he wrestled at house shows and everything.
No, but he never wrestled for free on TV.
Very rarely.
Except on Saturday Night's Main Event.
Right. He did, yeah, you're right. He didn't wrestle all the time, and if he did wrestle on, say, Wrestling Challenge or anything like that, it was, a typical match. What they do now is it's just overkill, and it really takes away from it. Like, I promise you, there's going to be some point in the next 3 weeks where Triple H and John Cena are on opposite sides of the ring from each other.
I would be very surprised if they didn't do that.
Right, which is going to take away some of the air from seeing them in the ring anyway, but not that there's much air in it anyway.
Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing a WrestleMania main event where the face is constantly getting booed and the heel is constantly getting cheered, or gets no reaction at all whatsoever.
Well, that's what happens when you try to force things.
Right. You had Edge, people.
You had Edge. They wanted it, and the fact was the crowd was regurgitating Cena.
Mm-hmm.
See, you can only force people so far. You can force and force and force, and you can spoon-feed people certain things, but if they're not taking it anymore, you need to switch and do something else.
Right.
And that seems to be something I'm saying a lot about the WWE these days, is that they're just not switching gears and trying something else. This whole Attitude Era thing, it's basically the same set, basically the same style of programming, it's not working the way that it did then. And if you want to find the next boom, you have to try something new, or at least different from what you're trying now.
Yeah, well, I remember last year at WrestleMania, and I know the constant factor in this was Triple H, so obviously his spot wasn't changed. But I think originally last year they wanted to do a face Randy Orton versus a heel Triple H, but Randy Orton's face push didn't work, so they gave the spot to Batista, and then put Randy Orton with Undertaker, and I think that worked out very well.
Mm-hmm. And nobody saw Batista coming. And when he got there, everybody was like, holy shit.
No, I never, in my wildest, I ever dreamed that I would actually be excited to sit through a Batista match.
Oh, man. Nobody saw that coming. And to be fair, that WrestleMania match did not get the best reactions. Last year's main events were two of the worst main events that they've had in a couple years.
Oh, yeah.
But he went on to become so much bigger than what he was at that match.
I was just amazed. And then when he got injured and had to drop the title, it was like, oh, man, SmackDown just lost their big guy, who 2 years ago I couldn't stand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a big event happening next week, too. Next Saturday night is Saturday night's main event.
Well, before we go there, we got one more big match to cover for Destination X, and that's the Ultimate X match.
Go for it.
Joe and Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, the only reason I'm going to buy this pay-per-view, the sole reason, is just to see how the hell Joe is going to survive in this match.
I'm very curious to see that myself. Daniels made a good point, and that is a lot of people wonder if the ropes are going to hold him, and he said, well, if you remember, there's been times when 3 of us have been hanging from the ropes at a time, and he's like, he certainly doesn't weigh any more than 3 of us at once.
Right, but if you have Joe, AJ, and Daniels all up there at the same time, that's more weight.
That definitely is.
Yeah. See, you got 3 guys up there, and one of them's Joe. That's a little...
Well, and he also made a good point saying about the weight factor of it is, have you ever seen trained weightlifters actually try to do a push-up, or a pull-up, I should say?
Not often.
No. And you know why that is?
because they got smaller muscles in their hands.
Well, that plus muscle.
They're carrying a lot of weight.
They're carrying a lot of weight. Like, I can do pull-ups easily. Well, not easily, but I can do about 20 of them before I feel like I'm about to die. Then I stop. But I can do pull-ups, but I don't have that much muscle weight behind me. Samoa Joe has a lot of weight to him.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. And while I've seen him lift big guys before, it's different when you're trying to do that with your own weight. And he's got to maneuver himself to the middle of the ring to get it.
Right.
Which basically means you've got to do a monkey bars across this unstable wire.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how the hell he's going to do it, because I think Samoa Joe's going to win this match. I just don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they do want to cement Joe as the top guy in the X division now.
Right.
At least for the time being. So I think they are going to find some way to get him the win.
I hope so. I mean, like I keep saying, the only reason that he would lose this match is because he could say he never lost or got pinned. But I don't think he's ready for the main event yet.
Maybe not for the main event, but I would love to see him mix it up with a bit. They actually clashed at Bound for Glory in that gauntlet match, and the second those two were left in the ring together, the crowd went crazy. Because, that's just big man versus big man just always works.
And both of them are very agile, too, for big men.
Yeah. And they're both crazy, too. Abyss gets powerbombed on tax once a month.
Pretty much. And what does Father James Mitchell say all the time?
What, the doomsday device?
Yeah.
I'm going to go click, click, and boom. My weapon of mass destruction shall destroy. And that's the worst imitation of James Mitchell of all time, but we won't go there.
Yeah, I mean, I like that, though. Doomsday Device isn't that the Road Warriors finisher?
Yes.
That reminds me, can I just go on a quick rant?
Go ahead.
Am I the only one who's more and more and more disgusted with this whole Road Warriors thing continuing?
Why'd they turn him heel?
He cut a promo on Hawk this week.
What did he say?
He said that Hawk was always out taking drugs and partying, and that he's the only reason that the Road Warriors are ever successful.
How many dead people do they want to disrespect on their show?
God, I don't know. Next week, hear what we have to say about Kurt Hennig and Ravishing Rick Rude.
Next week we'll have Bret Hart. When we induct Bret Hart into the Hall of Fame, we'll bring up Owen, just for the hell of it.
Yep. We'll say that Owen was good, but he wasn't that good.
Yes.
And his wife was a slut.
Anything just to, ugh.
I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was cool. I didn't think it was good heel heat. I just think it's one of those things just leave alone.
Yeah, and I think Hardy and Animal are going to clash in some match at WrestleMania, whether it be in like some kind of a battle royal or something. They're going to meet, and I think they want Animal to be the heel for whatever reason, because their show's going to be in Chicago. I can't imagine they'd boo him anyway.
That's stupid. It's bad planning. They should have put Hawk in the Hall of Fame this year, since they have this obsession with putting dead people in.
Right.
Or desire to.
There's still like 3 weeks, so they might put him in.
It's an distinct possibility.
Yeah, I want Ricky Steamboat to get in.
I am glad to see Sherry got in.
Yeah, and she's somebody that I didn't think of.
I didn't think of Gene either.
No.
I think I just assumed he was in there already.
Well, now that Gene's going to be inducted this year, who's going to be the head of ceremonies when they come out at WrestleMania? They have nobody.
Who's the guy that dressed as the baseball announcer for Halloween?
I don't know. Oh, Todd Grisham?
Yeah, maybe him.
Yeah. See, the one time he was ever entertaining.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. And then they never did anything with him again. So, yeah, whatever. That reminds me, what the hell ever happened to Sean Mooney?
Last time I saw him, he was doing announcing for Channel 9 WWOR or UPN as it went to be called in New York. He was a a newscaster.
Oh, wow.
For like News at 10.
Yeah, he had like a 3-second clip on the Raw Homecoming show. And I was like, oh my God, it's Sean Mooney. I haven't seen him in ages.
He was on there, or was it a clip of him from the past?
No, it was really him. He made some comment about Raw, and he said it was really revolutionary, and that was it.
I don't remember that.
Well, I think they showed, like...
He looks pretty similar, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's aged a little bit, but for the most part, he still looks the same.
Right.
Which, by the way, I think one of the funniest things that the WWE ever did, was when Bobby Heenan took a cameraman and followed Sean Mooney around on his honeymoon. Do you remember this?
A little bit, yeah.
I thought that was one of the funniest things they ever did. It never went anywhere. There was no angle involved. It was just shameless stupidity, but it was just so funny.
Well, that's what they did on those shows. It was basically Bobby Heenan's comedy hour.
Yeah.
Whatever Bobby thought would be funny for that week, they just gave him the camera and had him do it.
Yeah, I think they did that on Raw.
Was it?
I think they did, yeah.
Hey, whatever. If it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah, I thought it was hysterical.
Heenan and Monsoon had such good timing, too.
Oh, yeah. They're probably my favorite commentating team ever, just because they were so funny.
They were so funny, and Gorilla was the straight man, but Gorilla also got his little remarks in.
Yeah.
And Heenan was just a riot, and the reaction whenever Heenan said anything way the hell off the wall from Monsoon was funny as hell. And
yeah, and it didn't take away from the matches either.
No, it actually added to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, like squash matches especially.
Right. I mean, if you watched Wrestling Challenge or Superstars, you were more watching to hear what Bobby Heenan was going to say about somebody than to see Hacksaw Jim Duggan beat Chris Duffy in 36 seconds.
Yeah, and if you see a cool move while listening to Bobby, then hey.
Yeah.
You're good. Yeah, what was the one I was just thinking of? The blindfold match from WrestleMania 7. Do you remember when Rick Martel tried to backdrop Jake? But it went nowhere because Jake just moved out of the way and Martel just waited for him?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and Gorilla was like, that was a really stupid move. And then he looks over at Bobby, he's like, you probably told him to do that. And I don't know, those guys were just hysterical. But, yeah, Saturday night's main event. Is that what we were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We got some stars coming back for this one.
Now, is it true that JBL and Steve Austin are going to be in a drinking contest?
Yes.
Why?
Because apparently on WWE.com, Austin didn't say nice things about JBL, and JBL wants to show him up, but because, as JBL put it, he can't wrestle anymore. This is, yeah.
JBL actually pointed that out?
Yeah.
Good for him. Somebody finally said it.
Right. He said he'll beat him at what he can do, and that's drink.
Of course, now they'll probably have JBL get drunk, and then Austin will beat him in like a match or something.
I hope not.
You'll probably see it.
I hate when I see him stun people to this day.
I hate it now because he's, like JBL said, he doesn't wrestle anymore.
He just hurts people. He doesn't help them. When they beat up Carlito at last year's WrestleMania, I didn't like it.
No, neither did I.
I mean, I would have taken it if they would have just left it at Piper and Austin beat him up, and that's it.
Right.
But then they went too far with it.
Right, and granted, I was shocked when Carlito came out because he was not supposed to be on the card that night, so that was a nice surprise.
Right.
But then they kind of just ruined it for him.
Am I the only one who's confused why Eugene didn't stay and pose with Hogan?
I was wondering that myself.
Hmm.
I didn't get that. Granted, I didn't really care, but because, you know, hey, it's Hogan.
Yeah, people just forgot that Eugene never was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't understand why he didn't stay.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He, like, disappeared, too. Have you ever noticed that in wrestling where somebody gets beat up, somebody comes down to save him, and, you know, the person getting beat up originally, like...
I don't really know where they go. To be perfectly honest with you, I think that they either just walk to the back or they hide under the ring or something.
Probably. It always confused me. Because I'm like, where'd they go?
Is there a trap door under the ring?
You know what? I honestly don't know.
I've always wondered that because I've always wondered if they're sitting there all day. Remember when Doink used to come from under the ring all the time?
Right.
Did he just sit there all night?
I don't know. I remember Undertaker did a spot. Do you remember the Bret Diesel cage match where he came up from under the ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the main event. And I always wondered, did Taker sit under there all night long? I mean, there probably is a trap door, but, you know.
You heard a story once about WCW, right?
Was this about the Warrior?
No.
Okay, what?
Kurt Hennig was doing something where he was making fun of Sting.
Uh-huh.
And he had to stand to the ring the entire night.
Yeah.
And later on, Buff Bagwell or somebody was supposed to go down there with him.
Right.
But Hennig decided he was going to shit under there. So he just left a pile of shit in the middle of the floor on the bottom, under the ring. And everybody had to come down there and wait for their spot, and they had to smell it, and it was bad.
That's awesome. You know, that actually sounds like something Kurt Hennig would do. He's such a joker.
Oh, I would kick his ass first. I have a phobia of fecal matter.
Fecal matter?
I don't like to be around it.
I can't say I blame you.
Yeah, I could never work in, like, sewage or anything.
No. I probably couldn't either, but one day I intend on being a father, so I have no choice.
I'm an uncle, and I will not change a diaper.
Oh, well. If you ever become a daddy, that's not going to fly.
No, it will not.
No, the wifey expects you to, you know, I'm breastfeeding, so you change the diapers.
I'm sure I'd feel a little bit differently about that, but I just don't like it.
Yeah, I hear you get used to it after a while. Take a few diapers, you actually get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we're going way south with this. So Saturday night's main event, what else is on the show?
We have the tag match, which is going to be Triple H and John Cena teaming up against the 3 members of the main event of SmackDown. It could be interesting. I don't really understand the concept of it, but it could be interesting.
Somebody I was talking to came up with the idea of whichever team wins this match, their match should be the main event at WrestleMania.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, they should make that the official stipulation.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, it makes it feel like they're actually fighting for something. But, you know, the only thing wrong with this match is the fact that the crowd is probably going to crap all over Cena again. And, you know, you're practically left with no face. Well, I guess Angle and Ray are faces, but, you know, it's going to throw that match out of whack.
It's gonna be weird. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to react. I also want to see the Shawn Michaels against Shane McMahon match, which hopefully will be Michaels not drugged this time. Another thing that I didn't really care for this week. I didn't like him being drugged. I didn't like that too much. I didn't think it was good.
Well, I hated the... It's like you guys said. It's like you think the cameraman would have been nice enough to say, hey, Sean, don't drink that. The bitch slipped something in your drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that mean pregnant lady, yeah, she slipped something in your drink, Sean. Don't drink it.
And I've never drank the Mickey before, but I would assume that if you just put it in water, it would taste more like something was wrong with the water than if you put it in alcohol.
Well, somebody said, I didn't notice this, but apparently a little bit of it spilled out of the water bottle on camera. So there was like a mess on the table, too.
Huh.
I didn't notice that, but I'm like, oh, that's not good.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah. I mean, you would think, you know, I say it all the time, but I hate these backstage segments where they don't acknowledge that there's a camera there.
I hate them, too. I went on a rant about that this week on the live show.
Yeah, it's stupid.
I don't understand the purpose. It's like, I don't know. I don't understand the logic behind it.
Now, was it Ben Venier or Brendan Brooks who brought up the GTV?
Both of them, actually.
Yeah, now, I did not like the GTV stuff, and here's why. Because what's the difference between the way they act on GTV and the regular backstage segments? Because they ignore the camera either way. They act as if there's no camera there anyway, so what's...
Yeah. WCW for the longest time still had backstage interviewers.
Uh-huh.
And then towards the end of the company, and with a brilliant idea, back when they had no booker, no official booker, was they were just going to have cameras pointing down from the upper corner of the locker rooms. And they could just pan to the cameras at any time. Because they'd be like, let's see what's going on in Rick Steiner's dressing room. And then apparently as soon as they put the camera on, they start talking. I hated that idea.
Yeah, well, you would think now, if Stephanie McMahon really wanted to drug Shawn Michaels, would she really do it on camera in front of the world?
But there's no camera there. How would she know there's a camera there?
Oh, shit. And you would think something would, I mean, at least, like, maybe she could have at least turned to the camera and said, if you tell Shawn about this, I'll fire you. Something to make it realistic.
They just don't acknowledge the camera. They don't acknowledge that they're on camera.
Which is why, you know, somebody brought up that Eric Young deserves to be applauded because the first segment where he said things not gone.
Yeah, he grabbed the camera.
Right, and everybody's like, oh my God, he acknowledged the camera. There's hope for wrestling after all.
Well, that's where TNA is smarter than WWE.
Oh, I think as far as booking goes, I think TNA is the far superior product.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and, you know, obviously production-wise, and their roster isn't even that much better. At all. I mean, seriously, I think WWE is a better roster, but, you know, TNA's just so smart with their booking lately.
TNA has a little bit of that ECW renegade spirit right now.
Yeah.
And that's why the guys work so hard. I think they do have an inferior roster, but I think what they do have are more willing to go to bat for the company than the WWE guys.
Well, WWE's just, especially Raw, which is just another train wreck right now. It's just, the product's just not very good.
Mm.
Is there anything else announced for Saturday night's main event? Or was it just those three things?
I think that's it.
So the big return to Saturday night, they've got a beer drinking contest, a street fight involving one guy who's not a trained wrestler, even if it is Shane McMahon, we all love him. But, yeah, and both your WrestleMania main events in a tag match. That's it? That's all I got?
I think that's it.
Oh, goody. Goody. Yeah, I'm not very excited about this show.
I think it'll turn out to be good. I'm curious to see what set they use and everything.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
One little thing that I loved was the images for this past week's Raw for the WrestleMania Rewind matches.
Old school.
How they made them look like it was from 1985.
Yeah.
Like the WrestleMania 1 matches. I thought that was really cool. I like that a lot.
I did too.
And nobody else seemed to like it. Everybody's like, oh, they went too old school. No, that's fine. That's the way it should be.
Well, it's WrestleMania Rewind. Granted, Big Show versus John Cena isn't exactly old school, but yeah, I like the idea. I like the look. So.
Yeah, and I was thinking, well, that's not that old school either. And I thought, holy shit, that was 7 years ago. The Triple H and Kane match.
Oh my God, yeah. WrestleMania 15. That seems so freaking. Didn't seem like all that long ago, but I'm sitting thinking about it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's 7 years ago.
Damn.
I'm getting old.
And if you watch that match now, I actually just watched WrestleMania 15 a few days ago, and I wanted Triple H looked extremely deflated compared to what he looks now, and Kane wore a mask and looked 10 times better. And I'm watching this like, wow, this is creepy. I never thought I would consider the Attitude Era old school, but we're getting close to that.
Yeah. It's like when I went on a rant in 2003. Because somebody was talking about 2001 in the old school wrestling section of a forum. And I was like, that's not old school! La, 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 and I started going on this wild rant. But I guess I can't imagine where else you'd put it. Because it's not current, so.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Is there any wrestling news going on right now before we move on to Andy Douglas?
Not that I'm aware of. Oh, Playboy, the Playboy thing, if anybody cares.
Is the magazine out yet?
Yes, it came out on Friday.
Oh, have you seen it?
Yes. Do you have internet access right now?
Yes, I do.
Go to our forums.
Oh, it's on the forums.
Go to our forums. We've actually got 50 people to register just to view these pictures.
God.
Yeah, we got some perverted people. Yeah.
All of them are under 15 years old.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm a smut smuggler.
There you go. Now this will actually be the first diva photo shoot for Playboy that I've seen since Sable's first one. So.
Go to the WWE Divas area.
Oh, it's in there?
Mm-hmm. And I want your opinion. And I'm going to...
And why is my internet not working? There we go.
I'm looking at them now.
Okay, almost. Just log in. RSBH123, which is the most bizarre name on the forums, but that's okay.
What is it?
RSBH123. I never changed that.
I can change it if you want me to. But...
No, I kind of like it. Makes me look like a Star Wars character. Candace Michelle Playboy pics. Anyone got him?
Yeah, keep going down.
Okay. Oh, there we go. It's not bad.
Yeah, I'm not overly overwhelmed with them.
She looks drugged in this picture.
What one?
The one where she's lying on the couch, but she's like half off of it. She looks like she's on drugs. I don't know.
She doesn't do it for me, to be honest with you.
She looks alright.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's attractive and everything, but she's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I usually like brunettes.
Well, she did porn, so she's damaged goods. So.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I never saw that video that you posted. Was it like really hardcore, or was it
really softcore?
Oh, so it was like that stupid late night HBO stuff.
A little bit more hardcore than that, but like you can tell she's sucking dick, but you can't see it actually happening. You just see her head bobbing.
Well, that's some wonderful acting on Candace Michelle's part.
Right. Or you can tell she's having sex, but you don't actually see the connection. Yeah, the connection being made. You just see.
The point at which happiness is reached.
Yeah.
Are there any other analogies we can use? Let's be as filthy as possible here.
His hoo-hoo dilly did not go into her cha-cha.
What?
That's from South Park.
South Park, oh, okay.
Yeah. When a man and a woman love each other, sometimes a man puts his hoo-hoo dilly inside of a woman's cha-cha.
I need to watch South Park regularly. I've only watched it a few times.
They're having new episodes start soon. I mean, it seems like there's some episodes that are really, really good and some episodes that are,
Like, weird. Like, I saw one where a 9-year-old was getting erections in class, and then to get rid of the erections, he had to go pick up a hooker. And I'm like, that's a little odd, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know that even a hooker would would accept an 8 or 9-year-old buying them.
I think a hooker would go where the money is.
I guess. I mean,
I honestly think that if an 8-year-old walked into a hooker and gave him $200, they'd do whatever they want.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It is, but probably true. Any hookers out there, feel free to prove me wrong or send hate mail to me.
Yeah, all right. Do I have time, since I can't ever talk about my personal life on the live show, to tell you what happened at the concert the other day?
Sure, go ahead.
I got to sing twice, and I got kicked by the lead singer of a band.
Go on. I'm intrigued.
Well, the first band, name is Pretty Boy Floyd. I actually have a couple of their CDs. Not a huge fan, but I like their stuff. came on. You know, me and my brother-in-law are singing along. They're really loud though, so you just hear mouths moving. You can't hear what we're saying or anything. And they say that we're singing, and to be honest with you, I don't think a lot of the other people knew who the hell they were. So they started like playing up to us a lot. And then during one of the choruses, they actually put the mic between us and we sang.
Wow.
Which, I gotta tell you, my heart was down in my stomach somewhere. I was like nervous as hell. Yeah, but that was fun.
But how did he kick you?
That wasn't him. The next band came on, and I really liked this band, and I didn't know what they'd be like live because I'd never seen them before. Their name is Bang Tango. They also double as Beautiful Creatures. They were a great, great band. Lead singer was either trashed or a really great performer, or both, because he was like he was out of control, but like not in a weird, not in like a goofy way, not in a terrible way.
Like in the Ozzy Osbourne way. Like
yes and no. Like he was more coherent than that, and he was very quick. Like he was hitting on all the girls in the front row and everything, and saying a lot of weird stuff. And I don't know. It was funny. He was funny. He might as well have been a comedian because he was hysterical. And they were a great band musically too. And during one song, there's a part of it where it sounds eerily like "Shoot to Thrill," which is an AC/DC song.
Right.
And he looks over at me and he sees me singing, and I'm standing right next to his girlfriend, who's quite attractive.
Oh gosh.
Very cute little blonde. I liked her, but I didn't look at her any sort of because I didn't want to get my ass kicked. So he comes over, sees me singing, and there's a part where he does the whole thing, and we shared the microphone, and I did that with him, which was very cool. Very cool. That was like really cool because they're the ones I really wanted to see. So that one I really freaked out when that happened. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then the lead singer from Rat, Stephen Piercy, came on, and people bum rushed the stage, basically.
Oh, God.
So we're up against the speakers. This one idiot has his foot on the speaker, and I'm trying to keep my spot because somebody's trying to force it in front of me, so I'm right against the speaker. And we're getting a little bit of feedback. And he comes over to me, and he sticks his foot out, and he, like, kicks my leg. Not hard or anything. But I think he's trying to say, like, he's getting feedback. So he's trying to say, without saying, move back a step.
Right.
But he kicked me in the leg, and I just thought that was funny because I'd never been kicked at a concert before.
Oh, when you said he kicked me, I was thinking, you got into a fight or something. He kicked you in the head or something.
No, he kicked me. He was like, here's the deal. The one guy, we were standing for 5 fucking hours. The concert started at 8 o'clock, and we didn't leave until 2:30 in the morning. Okay. That's when the concert let out. So we were there for a long time, and we were standing the entire time, and the guy next to me was standing too, and he put his foot up on the speaker to rest, and I didn't hear any difference, but I guess between him having his foot up and me being so close to it, it was kind of drowning out that speaker. I didn't notice it at all, but apparently they did. And he just came over and, like, he kept coming closer, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? I mean, I thought maybe he was going to give the mic to me again or something. And I just saw his foot kept coming up, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing? Is he climbing over this thing? And just, like, taps my leg gently. And I look back, and I'm like, what? And he doesn't say anything. I mean, I took a half a step back, but I mean, it was literally just about 3 inches.
Wow.
But that was fun, though. It was a very fun concert. And they were making fun of the place, though, because it was, like, everywhere else in the country they play pretty decent-sized venues, and this was basically like a bar. And they're just making fun of it. They're like, this better damn well be the best restaurant in the country. Well, and I'll explain it real quickly. Clear Channel Entertainment owns all the venues here, and unless you're signed to a major record label, you don't come to Arizona. So, like, we get 60s pop, and we get whatever the flavor of the month is. That's it.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we get. So otherwise, you got to go around it and go to smaller venues, which is what they did.
Yeah, it's funny. Queen was actually up here where I live earlier in the week. I didn't go, but my sister did.
How'd she say they were?
She said they were great.
They're going to be here in a couple days. I was just curious.
Yeah, she said they were tremendous. Of course, she's just so biased towards Queen that I'm pretty sure they could have just dropped their pants and taken a shit on the stage, and she would have loved it. So that's her favorite band.
Yeah, I like Queen. I kind of like that.
Yeah, Queen's an awesome band. I'm not trashing it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like that your sister's kind of a rocker chick, though.
Yeah, she loves AC/DC and Kiss, and her favorite's Queen by far. I'm not exactly sure why. She never did tell me why Queen's her favorite. But
I don't know. I mean, I will say this, though. When you see Freddie Mercury, and they always have, like, commercials for Queen live DVDs and things.
Uh-huh.
When you see him on stage, you knew he was a rock star.
Oh, yeah.
He just fit the bill perfectly. And it wasn't his look or anything. It's just the way he was.
Yeah.
Gay or not gay, I really don't care.
Right, well, Britney Spears, look where she is now. What's she doing lately?
Breastfeeding, that's about it.
I mean, seriously, I have not heard anything about her music-wise or anything. She was just the flavor of the month, the hot chick.
Well, unfortunately, she's going to be coming back in the next year or so, I bet. And there'll be a small uprising or a small wave of popularity, but her time is gone, too.
Yeah. And who's the new one that I keep hearing about?
Jessica Simpson or?
The redhead.
She
was in all those movies for Disney.
Oh, Heather Duff?
No.
Hillary Duff?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know their names, so I don't keep up with modern music, but
Hillary Duff is one of them. She's cute and everything, but her music is, like, very stupid. Like, her number one hit is, like, So Yesterday. And it's just so stupid. I mean...
you just summed up most of today's music.
It's just
stupid.
Oh, man, I go to this rant. This is actually a rap song called Look at My Grill or something like that. And it's about how gaudy they made their teeth look. Like they have gold teeth and diamonds, and I'm like, dude, you're a parody of yourself. You might as well start singing, Mama's little shortcake, 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 for crying out loud. I mean, give me a break. Swing low, sweet chariot.
Wow, we've really gone off on a tangent here. Okay, is there anything wrestling related that we have to talk about?
Not that I can think of, other than Saturday night's main event next Saturday. Of course, tomorrow night is Destination X. And
word of that one.
Yes, and be sure you got to support TNA, man. If anybody out there is complaining about WrestleMania and you're not ordering these pay-per-views, you have no right to talk.
Yeah, absolutely, especially since TNA is putting on far superior pay-per-views.
Oh, superior pay-per-views. Impact has been tremendous. I mean, you can't compare right now. I mean, as far as a product goes, not necessarily in production, but just the sheer heart of the companies, it's clear that TNA is trying harder right now.
I'd say their brain is more in sync right now than WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Because they haven't, like, the whole viewing party thing that they did for Sting, I guarantee you if Vince McMahon had been given something like that, he'd have done something really stupid with it. Like, when I say stupid, I mean, my major problem with it was that they showed Sting as, like, a human, and he's coming back as Steve Borden and not Sting. But that's not really, really, really stupid. Like, Vince McMahon would have done, like, necrophilia or hot lesbian action or just something moronic.
Sting's auditioning to appear on Broadway.
Yeah, just something ridiculous. And he would have, like, dragged it out throughout the entire show, and it would have been just bizarre segments of stupidity with Vince hitting on.
At what point would Vince pull out a rubber doll out of Sting's ass?
Probably.
No,
probably would.
So stupid.
That's one thing I love about Sting. He never went to WWE and thus was never devalued.
Well, that's why I think he actually does hold value, and I disagree with Ben Benya, who went on a rant this week. He's already saying he's tired of him, but we've seen him twice. You can't be that tired of him.
Right. He didn't he do some shows for TNA back in, like, 2003?
Yes. Those were the highest buy-rated shows. These ratings for the appearances that he made on Impact, which is just one, was like a 1.2 compared to a 0.7, which they're getting now.
I think it was a 1.1 when he showed up.
Okay.
I think it was, yeah.
Well, 1.1, that's still like, what, 400,000 people?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big difference than 700,000.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a hell of a lot of people, and by any standards, and a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not worth the money. Well, quite frankly, we haven't seen what he can do yet. That's just an indication of what he can do. Imagine when he's there regularly, every week, and on a time slot that kids can actually stay up to watch. That'll help.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. On Saturday nights, there's more. I don't know about everybody else out there, but I always had more leeway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was allowed to stay up, not necessarily as late as I wanted, but later on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But on Fridays, I had to be in bed by like 11. So like as soon as the Nitro went off the air, I had to be in bed.
Yeah. I remember I used to get in so much trouble with my parents because I would stay up on Monday nights to watch Raw. I remember it was on from like 9 to 10, which isn't that late, but apparently it's too late for 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever. Oh, and one more thing about Destination X. Don't be surprised if Scott Steiner's the one that Jeff Jarrett brings to the pay-per-view.
Give me a fucking mic.
If he says that, I'll laugh.
All right, if he says that, I'll mark out.
Yeah, that's his new catchphrase. That's T-shirt worthy.
Yeah, but I don't know that you can put that on a shirt.
You could censor it. They did it for Austin.
I hated that shirt, by the way. I thought that was over the line, yeah.
F beer, drink beer, yeah, that was...
I thought that was a little over the line.
I thought so too, and they didn't do a good job of censoring it either. Because the skull that they used for the U actually is kind of shaped like a U.
Right.
So it didn't really do a good job of censoring it.
Right. I don't know, I just thought that we're crossing the line.
Yeah, but did people actually buy that shirt? Well,
I'm sure they did because it was Austin.
Right. I don't know, Steve Austin, he's probably the only major star that I loved in his prime that just does not do it for me anymore at all.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're just going off on weird tangents here, so let's end it here. We've got Andy Douglas coming up next.
Naturally.
Yep. What?
I said naturally.
Yes.
I made a pun.
Yeah, it was a very good interview. I think you guys will like it. It actually surprised me at how good it was.
Yes, it does, and I think you will like it. And once again, I want to thank Chris Ferguson, terrorizing, for writing the transcript. I'm sure he will.
Oh, he wrote the transcript for us.
He hasn't written it yet, but I'm sure he will.
Oh, well, he's a nice guy.
Yes, he writes the transcripts because that's my least favorite thing to do.
Oh, yeah. That gets a little tedious after. I've had to write a few, and it's just mind-numbing.
Yeah.
Even if the interview's fantastic, so I can't imagine what it's like to do.
Well, I have a weird thing of not liking to listen to my interviews over again. Because I just nitpick myself so hard. So when I listen to them over and over again and I have to write it, I'm just like in hell because it's mind-numbing to begin with, and then on top of that, it's me having to listen to myself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, okay, that's all we have for you tonight. Enjoy the Andy Douglas interview, and stay tuned for more from the Weekend Warriors of Wrestling.
This is Ron Simmons, and you're listening to The Blaze, 1260 AM.
All right, welcome back to the Weekend Warriors of Wrestling. I am Patrick Kelly, and I'm joined by my very special guest, one half of the Naturals, Andy Douglas. Andy, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How about you, James?
I'm doing well. It's good to have you on the program.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, we really want to thank you for our time here. We just have a couple quick questions for you. Okay. First of all, TNA, they got the primetime slot on Thursday nights. What's it like in the locker room now with such great news hitting the roster and the company?
Well, it's great news. We're going to go. I mean, I don't know exactly the numbers, and nobody will until we, have a few shows. But anywhere from 1 million viewers that we have now to who knows? I mean, we could jump up to 5 to 6 to 7 million within the first couple of weeks. And I mean, that's just going to mean more exposure, and in the end, more money for everybody. So it's a great opportunity for TNA and all the guys involved in that situation.
Do you think TNA will ever become competition to WWE?
I think as far as fans, deciding which wrestling program they're going to watch or which program they prefer. We already are. But I think we're going to be able to compete with them budget-wise, viewer-wise, as far as the numbers, merchandise-wise. That's going to take a long time, if ever. And that would be the same, I mean, even with WCW, ECW, they've just been around so long and their bankroll is so heavy that it would be very difficult to compete with them on that level.
All right. Getting to your career a little bit, how did you first end up teaming with Chase Stevens?
How did we first start teaming?
Yeah.
Well, that all came about when I moved to Nashville and started, wrestling in that area. And we were wrestling locally for USA Championship Wrestling. And we weren't tagging. Actually, we'd wrestled against each other a few times. And then Bob Ryder, who works for TNA, was kind of writing the scripts for the show, putting together the matches and doing all that stuff. And he just one day asked me if I would be okay with tag team. And I was like, that's fine with me. That's what I'd done most in the past. And it was just like an obvious choice. I mean, at the time, we both had the same haircut. We both had the same ring style. And, we both did similar moves. And it was just, I don't know, I guess just by taking a step back and looking at the two guys, it was just an obvious choice to put us together. And ever since then, we've been together.
You have an old-school style in the ring. You kind of remind me of more like a Rock and Roll Express type tag team with a few more high spots. Where exactly did you get the old-school style? Where did you train?
Well, I trained in Kentucky, and I was brought up by veterans such as Bull Payne. Well,
I loved him. He was one of my favorites growing up.
Yeah. Handsome Bo James, the Batten Twins, who are old school guys. Now, I learned all the flippity-floppity, flashy stuff, and did that, of course, just like any other green guy coming up with the business. Until I took a step back and realized, do I want to do this for a couple of years, or do I want to make a career out of this? Do I want to pull the curtain every night, or do I want a main event someday? And if Rey Mysterio is a great wrestler, and, he gets over by doing a lot of stuff that he does, but you're never going to see him in the main event at WrestleMania or any other pay-per-view. You're going to see Triple H. You're going to see the bigger guy that does the old-school style match. And, those are the type of guys that are going to have the longer careers, too, because you can't do that stuff forever.
Right.
So Chase and I both used to do all this stupid stuff in front of 20 people for $5. Like you see on all the independent shows. So,
what is your opinion of that? When you look at a lot of the independent shows, one of the things I notice is a lot of the guys don't really have a look, so they wear baggy clothes to hide their unimpressive physiques. And
that's pretty much. Unless you're just one of the few, guys that are picked out in the gym because they have a great body and they get into the business that way. That's the way most guys are when they start out. Most guys in the business aren't, 200, 220 pounds and have a good body. And it's always been that way. It's probably always going to be that way. And it's just whether you decide to take a step to, buy a pair of boots and wrestling tights and get your butt in the gym, or do you want to keep being a backyarder, and making $5 if anything.
Wow.
And
is the wrestling down there in Nashville, are they more old school in the training? Because it seems like a lot of the wrestlers that come out of Nashville
absolutely. Yeah, people ask me about that, why did you move to Nashville? And in my opinion, if you want to be a country music singer, you move to Nashville or Memphis. And if you want to be a successful wrestler, you pretty much, some point in your career, go through Nashville or Memphis. And the reason being is there's a lot of work in that area. There's a lot of work in the surrounding areas where you can constantly work a solid 5, 6, 7 day a week if you want to. And it's usually with good guys that can wrestle, and most of them do the old school style. So that's pretty much how me and Chase got our style and developed the way we wrestle.
Right. Well, we interviewed Ricky Morton right before he went to jail, as a matter of fact, and that's where I kind of draw the conclusion that you guys were kind of similar. The reason why I mentioned that is because he said something that kind of intrigued me, and I want to ask you. He said that the southern style of wrestling is different than the northern style of wrestling, and I really can't tell, but do you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's more fun for guys like Chase and I and the guys that wrestle that style to wrestle in the Midwest or the South because it's more appreciated. Me and Chase in the South could go out in Nashville, for example, and, you got guys out there doing the flips and the hurricanranas and the spinning, twisting 360 neck breaker, I'm going to kill you from the top rope, and the crowd doesn't appreciate it because they don't understand it and they don't care.
Right.
But you go out there and you work a headlock and they'll explode. Now, you go up to Jersey, New York, the northern crowds, and you have to go out there and kill yourself, or Canada for that matter. You have to go out there and spot, or they'll crap all over the match.
What do you think of well-timed high spots, like making spots make sense for the moment.
No, I'm not.
Right.
I'm not putting down high spots. I think there's a place for everything. I think there's a place for X Division. I think there's a place for hardcore matches. It's just when you get to the point in your independent promotion where that's all that's on the card. You know, when you've got everybody on the card that's 150 pounds doing the same spots and not selling anything, kills the business.
Right.
Or like ECW, when it comes to the point when ECW stopped, I mean, you basically had to take a shotgun out there for a finish.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I remember there was a couple matches where I think the guy got hit by the belt, by a chair, and kicked out at 2 every time, but ended up winning the match with a leg drop.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, great.
Oh, wow.
But
Well,
go ahead, Patrick.
yeah, okay. Getting back to your TNA career a little bit, you had some amazing matches with America's Most Wanted, including the first ever Six Sides of Steel match. What's it like working with those guys?
It's always been fun because anytime you get in a ring, there's always a trust factor, whether you've wrestled the person before or you've never even met the person before. I mean, you're sacrificing your body and trusting that person. But the best thing about, we've worked with those guys so much all over the country that I've never, ever worried about, you know, are they going to be there? Are they going to be where they're supposed to be? Is my body going to be in risk? Are we even going to have a bad match? Because I don't think we've ever had a bad match with those guys. And it's rare that you find guys that you click with like that.
Amazing. You want to take the next one, James?
Sure. What are your memories of the epic match that you had with when you won the tag titles that lasted all of about 12 seconds?
Oh, the 12-second one.
Yeah.
Well, if you blinked, it was pretty much over, and
right.
It was a surprise to everybody. But I guess that goes down in maybe not wrestling history, but at least in NWA history as the quickest title match of all time. I know, like the King Kong Bundy match is supposedly like the longest one ever. Or, I mean, the shortest match ever.
Yeah, from WrestleMania.
Right.
When he killed S.D. Jones. Just to show you what a mark I am.
I think we're getting robbed, actually, because if you go back and watch the tape, from the time the bell rang, I don't think it was 12 seconds. I think it was a lot.
I think it was closer to 30.
Oh, what?
I don't think it was that long.
What match are we talking about now?
I think it's like 25, 30 seconds.
Who's match? Oh, wow, really?
No, Bundy and S.D. Jones.
Oh, Bundy's match. Yeah. I thought you were talking about our match.
Yeah, because
no.
Bundy ran across the ring twice when he hit him, so.
So that was at least a minute.
Yeah.
Was the match short because of, was there an injury involved, or was that just done to get you guys heat?
That was just an excellent choice of booking, in my opinion. What more way to, you know, at the time we were young, cocky guys coming in, stealing everything, and, you know, running every time A&W had a chance to get a hold of us, and what better way to make us look even more cowardly and cocky than to do that.
All right. Excellent. All right. In 2005, it seemed like the Naturals got really popular and really over with the crowd. Do you prefer being a babyface more so than being a heel?
Do I prefer it more?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I enjoy both aspects of the wrestling business pretty much the same. On the independent level, I much prefer being a heel just because it's more fun. And if you go out there and you don't get the reaction that you're looking for as a good guy, then it's difficult, especially if you don't have a good heel that knows what he's doing or knows how to work the crowd, then you're just going to have a crappy match. But with being the heel, you have complete control over the crowd, the match, the guy you're working with, and everything.
All right. How much did you and Chase learn from the late, great Chris Candido?
You know what? It wasn't even as much what we learned in the ring. It was just the experience that we got to spend with him outside of the ring and backstage and at the hotels and at the restaurants. And just being with somebody that's got an understanding and a mind for the business that he had was just amazing. And the best part about being around him was just not only the jokes and the ribs, but just listening to him talk about like old matches or old road trips, and just advice that he would have like that was just amazing.
A lot of people said that it's really a crying shame because he finally had cleaned himself up and he was like rejuvenated into the business when unfortunately his time came.
I mean, that's true, but I mean, it's also not a crying shame because think about it the other way it could have happened. We could all got the phone call saying Chris was found in his hotel overdosed, you know?
Yeah.
Would that have been better? I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point. Well,
Yeah.
a lot of people point to the loss of Jimmy Hart as your manager as perhaps part of the reason why you guys aren't featured as quite as hard as you were about 6 months ago. Would you agree with that?
I think that would not be 100% correct, but it didn't help, that's for sure. It wasn't like, okay, Jimmy can't be with you, so we're going to forget about you. It was just a lot of things adding up to it, but that obviously didn't help.
Right. How did you like having such a legendary manager as your manager?
It was like a kid being in a candy store. Are you kidding me? I mean, we wear the pink and black. Who didn't like Bret Hart coming up? And if you like Bret Hart, you like Jimmy Hart and the Hart Foundation. And just to go back and, look at all the teams that he has managed and the names and the championships and just, plus he's a super nice guy backstage and in person. So it was a treat. We really enjoyed it.
Is Bret somebody you purposely emulate a little bit?
You know what? It didn't start out that way, but the more and more I got comments on, like, you look like Bret walking to the ring, or you wrestle like Bret, or certain aspects of it. I don't like watch old tapes of Bret, like try to look like Bret, but there are certain things that I have stolen from him. Like when I first broke into the business, I'm a huge punch mark. I love guys that have great punches, and I always thought Bret had a great punch, so I tried to emulate my punch after him. That's for sure.
Besides Bret, who would you say does have the best punch in wrestling?
Right now? Well, there's a lot of guys out there that have great punches. I always liked Lawler's punches.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler always had great punches. Flair, a long time ago, had great punches. Now they got to switch the camera every time he does anything.
Finally, somebody tells the truth. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, well, a lot of guys have good punches out there, and a lot of guys, it's almost embarrassing to even sell what they throw. I mean, if you look at, like, what RVD does, RVD has some great, moves out there, but I think it should be illegal for him to ever throw a punch again.
You know who I thought really had terrible punches on Monday night? I thought Cena's punches were really weak this Monday.
You know what? I've only seen, like, 2 of his matches. I refuse to watch it.
Whoa, really?
Wow.
Why?
I haven't watched Raw or SmackDown in probably a year and a half.
Wow.
And the last pay-per-view I tried to watch, I kind of fell asleep, so.
What show was that? Just out of curiosity.
What's that?
Which pay-per-view was it that you fell asleep during?
It was WrestleMania.
Oh. Really great.
Wow.
Another really great punches, Scott Hall.
Yes, excellent punches. Very good punches. And Sabu, too. Sabu has good punches.
Yeah, Sabu.
And they are there.
I always liked Terry Funk's, too.
Yeah, Funk has some good punches. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there and a lot of different styles. It's just some guys can and some guys can't. And
right.
I always thought Bret Hart had really believable punches.
And the funny thing is, Bret never hurt anybody either.
What's that?
Bret never hurt anybody either with his punches.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. Are there any other tag teams that you haven't worked with yet that you would like to work with, have a dream match with?
Eminem for sure. I think if we signed up there or they signed down here, I think that would be a feud to see. Just because we've worked with Joey Matthews, Joey Mercury's going with by now?
Right, yeah.
He came to Nashville, and we almost had like a little Four Horsemen gimmick going with myself and Chase and him, and we've worked a lot together, and just, I love his work. It's so smooth, and just, it looks great. And I think if the Naturals and Eminem ever got together, it would be a pretty good feud.
Wow. Well, if you ever did go to WWE, do you think that you and Chase could break through the glass ceiling to succeed in a company where tag team wrestling seems to be non-existent?
Not unless they wanted us to. They have the final say on everything, and as you see, now that we have Christian, it doesn't matter if you get over up there. If they don't want you to, you don't.
Yeah, that was I'm actually glad to see him in TNA because WWE never seemed to let him reach it, even though the crowd was definitely on his side.
Exactly, and that's sad, but, it's part of the business.
Yeah.
Oh, their loss is your gain, right?
What's that?
Their loss is TNA's gain, right?
Exactly. We like to look at it that way.
All right, you want to take the next one, James?
No, why don't you take it, man?
All righty. All right, if the Naturals broke up tomorrow, God forbid, could you see yourself succeeding in the X division?
I keep getting asked that, and I guess it's due to my size, but I don't think so. It's not a style of match that I enjoy working. I can do it, if they told me to do it, I would have to, but it would be something that I wouldn't enjoy doing.
Okay. All right, TNA has been releasing a lot of DVDs lately. If they were to make a Best of the Naturals DVD, what matches do you think would be on there?
Well, definitely a lot from our feud early in the days of Nashville with AMW, you know, the double ladder match, the 6 Sides of Steel. Definitely the match where Candido helped us win the titles before he passed away.
Right.
And probably my favorite match this might be my favorite match that I've had in my career, was the first match after his passing that we had with AMW. Just the emotion in both teams, the emotion that you could just feel in the crowd and the crowd reaction. At the time, you know, we were the top bad guys and they were the top good guys, but there was natural chants throughout the entire match. And there was hardly a dry eye in the house, and it was just very emotional.
Was that the match at Hard Justice? I'm trying to remember which one that was.
Yes, I believe it was either the Lockdown was the one where he broke his leg, so I believe it was Hard Justice. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that was an excellent match. I really enjoyed that one.
You mentioned being in Nashville. You guys now pretty much run almost entirely out of Orlando. The question I have for you: what do you think is necessary? Do you think that traveling, a traveling company, is better than a stationary company, or do you think that would help the crowd reactions?
Well, I think what's going to be necessary for us to, you know, move on to the next level is a 2-hour time slot. Once we get a 2-hour time slot, that's going to be more money for everybody. That's going to involve, you know, adding more guys to the roster. And once you have more guys to the roster, plus you're getting more national exposure, you know, more airtime, you're going to have more fan base, then you can start the traveling. And you don't have to have, you know, your top 10, your top 20 guys on every road show. You know, you can have your few top guys, a few mid guys, and your few underneath guys.
Right.
And that would, you know, lower the budget, you know, a lot. So I think it's just going to be, you know, a good 2-hour time slot, or at least, you know, very good ratings for this 1-hour time slot once we move to prime time.
What do you think about maybe going live?
They've been talking about that. I don't know, like, how serious Spike is about that. I think it would be great. You know, we were live every week in Nashville on the weekly pay-per-views, and, you know, the pay-per-views are obviously live, so I don't know. I think it'd be interesting.
All right. Last question we have for you. We have a few word associations. I'm going to give you a few names, and you can give a one-word answer or tell a little story on the name that I give you. Okay? First name I have is Chase Stevens.
Just pretty much like a married couple. I mean, we've been together for 3 years, but we've never had one fight. We just clicked from day one, and he's a hell of a wrestler.
Petey Williams.
Should be a babyface. Very good wrestler, but he's too over to be associated with Team Canada still, in my opinion.
Oh, wow. Eric Young.
One of the most underrated guys, and I would go even as far to say the most underrated guys in the business today.
Wow. Lance Hoyt.
What's that? I'm sorry?
Lance Hoyt?
Oh, Lance Hoyt. A future star, definitely a future star. Just needs to get some more self-confidence.
That's funny that you say. It's actually funny that you say that, because just today I was posting a story that I got off of, I think, Wrestling Observer or something like that, and they were talking about how he has a huge ego.
A huge ego?
Yeah.
I don't know who said that. That's BS.
Yeah, well, we have Marty Jannetty works on our site, and there's been a lot of rumors going along about him lately. About his getting released from WWE and things like that, and he actually
right down the road for me, actually.
Yeah, he wrote an angry response to all the people that were saying these things, and I actually had the pleasure of sending it over to some people who just make up these stories, and that was actually a thrill getting their responses.
I can imagine.
Oh wow. Okay, next name I have is Chris Candido.
Just truly missed. You know, one of the legends in the business.
Wildcat, Chris Harris.
A great mind for the business.
Tennessee Cowboy, James Storm.
Hilarious to drink with.
Is he like I was watching Impact last week, and I noticed his reaction to the Sting video. Is he like that at all in real life?
We all are. We're all just crack-ups, and we all have fun. We all go out, you know.
Okay.
It's a good time. It's a good time after the shows.
Oh, great. The phenomenal AJ Styles.
A pretty good acrobat.
Mm-hmm. And last name I have is the King of the Mountain, Jeff Jarrett.
One of the biggest rivers in the business.
Really?
And it's very hard to get him back because he's been around so long. He knows all the gags, he knows all the jokes, and it's very hard to get him back.
I've never heard that about Jeff before.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So, all right. Well, that's all the questions I have, unless James has any more.
Sure. This coming Sunday, it's Destination X. Any chance we're going to see the Naturals make appearance?
Yeah, they don't have it posted. I checked today. I don't know why, but I believe that we're doing something with Team Canada. Now, whether that's just a straight-up tag or another 6-man or 8-man, I'm not really sure.
Well, we'll have to stay tuned and check it out. To check it out, we actually just interviewed Christopher Daniels yesterday, so you guys are well represented this week at the Wrestling Epicenter, and we can't thank you enough for your time.
Oh, thank you guys.
All right, thank you very much. Stay tuned for more from the Weekend Warriors of Wrestling.
Hey, can we just ask one little favor of you?
Sure.
Would you mind giving us a liner, basically saying this is Andy Douglas, and you're listening to 3 Count Wrestling?
What is it? 3 Count Wrestling?
3 Count Wrestling.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Tell me when.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey guys, this is Andy Douglas of the Naturals, and you're watching 3 Count Wrestling.